Good morning to you, friends. It is Friday, August 17th. Thanks so much for waking up with us for Local 33 News Today. I'm Jaron Jordan. My co-anchor, Carly Lang, will be back next week. Here's a look at what's coming up in this half hour of Local 33 News Today. Racist flyers popping up in Shreveport against the man running to be the city's next mayor. Now that candidate is speaking out, we'll hear what he has to say. And being prepared for hurricanes and all forms of natural disasters, communication is key. We'll tell you about an initiative to help improve the instruction process.
Many of us saw this rainfall yesterday, and guess what? The same scenario today. Don't play that song for me. I will, coming up.
Live and Baton Rouge proud. You're watching Local 33 News Today.
All right, at 6:30 on this Friday morning, we start this half hour with new information this morning. When a potentially dangerous weather event is on the way, communication is key. And as Local 33's Amber Smith explains, a new grant is going to evaluate how to take that weather data and best relay it to you at home.
When a hurricane is on the way, you see this.
Big question is, how many people actually understand what this cone is telling them?
The way this weather data is displayed and presented plays a role in how people prepare for a potentially dangerous weather event.
It can be complicated, and so communicating the risk to, the average person at home is important.
What our goal is to try to make sure that emergency managers and other practitioners in the weather world fully understand the products that NOAA is putting out to try to better understand severe weather.
The Louisiana Sea Grant Association awarded the LSU Manship School of Communication and the College of Humanities and Social Sciences $200,000 to study the way climate hazards are presented.
After every major flooding event, one of the things we always talk about when we start reflecting back on that event is could we communicate that risk, that flood risk, better to our constituents? That idea of making sure people understand the severity of a flood risk is one of the most important aspects of any event when you start reflecting on what you did right and what you did wrong.
When it comes to making important decisions like evacuating a home, being as clear as possible is crucial.
Cases where there are emergency situations, you want that communication to be as effective as possible.
For Local 33, I'm Amber Smith.
Now, the grant is still in its beginning stages. The first step will be to make sure that survey emergency managers and others who present the weather information to see how well they understand National Weather Service and NOAA graphics. Well, meanwhile, there are concerns over a flood mitigation plan in Mississippi, and they're spilling across the Louisiana state border. A legislative task force on Thursday made their views known, saying that a proposed 1,500-acre dam outside of Jackson, Mississippi will jeopardize Louisiana's wetlands. The Rankin-Hines Drainage District's project involves widening the Pearl River's channel to create a lake, but supporters argue that widening the Pearl River's channel to create that lake will curb cases of flooding in Mississippi's capital.
What is at risk in the Jackson area is over 5,000 structures, homes, businesses, state buildings, roads.
You've only really concerned yourselves with that part of the system between the Ross Barnett and your project, and not so much the project and the rest of us that are downstream.
So the Army Corps of Engineers will ultimately hand down its thoughts on the proposed dam. That's likely to come sometime next year. Meantime, the public comment period for the project runs through September 6th. And so again, one of the things that we're talking about on social media this morning is this project. We want to know from you, do you think the Pearl River Flood Project should go forward, and why? You can sound off at any time. Just head to Facebook, search for WVLA Local 33, leave your comment on this post, and you could see it pop up right here on Local 33 News Today. 6:33 on this Friday morning. Meteorologist Kevin Smith has been dropping little, what's it called? What can I say? Dropping little
like song
remembrances,
tidbits,
tributes to the Queen of Soul this morning.
The Queen of Soul, and if she was still, with us today, she would say, wow, Kevin, you talk about rain chances every day.
I think she would appreciate your tributes as well.
Thank you very much.
All
and
right,
speaking
absolutely.
of that, rain, I'm going to show some more. Let's take a look at what's happening on Doppler radar right now. We're seeing some rain across the North Shore as you make your way toward Covington, and folks over at least in between Hammond and Slidell are seeing a little bit of some activity. All this is pushing from the southwest to the northeast, and then we have more activity for us in the Baton Rouge area that's developing off toward the southwest, and we see that on the sky cam. You see those cumulus clouds that we call cumulonimbus clouds that are off toward the southwest. That's a signal of things that happen a little bit later today. Currently on the regional satellite and radar composite, there go the showers with the sea breeze that are off toward the south of us. And then you notice to the north and east and northwest, we have some more showers in association with a cool front, but that front won't make it because of the jet stream alignment. But further to the north of that in the southern Canada, we have a stronger front that will arrive. Yes, did I say that? It will arrive as we push toward Tuesday night into Wednesday. Now the water temperatures, if you're traveling toward the Gulf Coast, 87 degrees, 85 and 86, very warm, and we're monitoring a little bit of a tropical disturbance. Still has a low chance of development, 20% for the next 48 hours to 5 days. We'll keep advised on that. Meanwhile, for us, high temperature of 92, rain coverage at 60%, winds from the south-southwest. Next 5 days, more of the same, around 92 to 91, rain chances at 50 and 60%. But notice on Tuesday and the Wednesday, 89, slightly cooler as we move toward Wednesday, 89, 90, 91, still hot. Here we go. We have those radio updates brought to us by Cumulus Media. Let's take a look at what's happening with the roadways this morning. This is I-12 approaching Range Avenue. Some congestion is starting to build there as you make your way toward the Amy River. Take a look at some travel times this morning. 61 northbound from 42 up toward Florida. That's 10 to 15 minutes. And then we have 110 northbound up toward the airport. That's 8 to 16 minutes. For your latest traffic updates, log on to vrproud.com, Facebook, and Twitter. This traffic check is sponsored by the Murphy Law Firm. And a reminder, Jaron and everyone, check your VP. We want that in the green, 120 over 80. We don't want the red. There you go. Now, Jaron, back to you.
All right, Kevin, thank you. Well, 3 people are still recovering this morning after being taken to the hospital, all in critical condition after a single vehicle crash in Baton Rouge. This was the aftermath of that crash on Nicholson Drive near Ben-Hur Road Thursday morning. Reports indicate the vehicle may have crashed into a tree. We're told 3 people sustained serious injuries after that crash. We'll be sure to pass along any updates on their condition on our website, brproud.com. Turning now to your local election headquarters this morning, a candidate for mayor in Shreveport says he received a racist flyer on his doorstep. Stephen Jackson believes the flyer is a message for him to drop out of the race. Now, while we've chosen not to show you the actual flyer, we can describe it as an altered version of the famous Barack Obama campaign poster, which had the word hope beneath the future president's image. Well, in the flyer received by Jackson, someone covered Mr. Obama's face with a photo of Jackson and placed a noose around his neck. The word hope is then replaced by the word rope. The flyer says, "Leave our statue and property alone and get out of the race," with an expletive.
Here we are reducing ourselves to this type of caricature. This is unacceptable in 2018. It's unacceptable at any point in our period in this history of the country. We have to be better, bigger than that. We have to be better than that.
Now, Jackson has been an outspoken advocate of removing a Confederate statue outside of the courthouse there in Shreveport. Jackson says he's also received threatening phone calls demanding that he leave the mayoral race. All right, well, still ahead on Local 33 News today, we're talking about the Celebration of Hope, the second annual Celebration of Hope. Obviously, 2 years after the historic floods through South Louisiana, there's still so much to celebrate as we continue to recover and look forward to progress. We're going to be sitting down with organizers of this year's event coming up after a short break. And one more time for you, you can take a live look inside of Camp Bow Wow in Baton Rouge. Look at those little precious little buddies. We're talking about our second annual Clear the Shelters event. We're just hours away from it. It all gets kicked off tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. at Camp Bow Wow. We want everyone to come out and adopt some of these furry friends and help them find some forever homes. We're going to have details on our Clear the Shelters event coming up right after this. Stay with us.